The truth is out there. Knowledge is power. This is the Prepper Podcast Radio Network. Are you storing food? Many preppers are storing food for months and years, but only have enough fuel stored for days or weeks. Stretch your fuel storage by harnessing the power of the sun with a sun oven. Food can be baked, boiled, or steamed at temperatures of 360 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit with the power of the sun. Depending on where you are located, you can use the sun for 50 to 80% of your cooking, allowing you to preserve your fuel storage for rainy days. Sun-baked foods stay moister and have less shrinkage and don't burn. Sun-baked roasts are tastier and more succulent, and sun-baked bread has unparalleled taste and texture. Water can be heated in a sun oven for purification or personal hygiene. For the past 25 years, sun ovens have been proudly made in the U.S. They are durable, have a long life, and come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For a discount coupon, email podcast@sunoven.com. That's podcast@sunoven.com. This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from Southeast Oklahoma, USA, to parts unknown.
This is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. I know you can do it. I know you can prep for yourself and for your family. I believe in you. Crisis strikes, you need to reach down and check to see if you got the big boy or big girl underwear on, because you know what, you're going to have to be an adult and you're going to have to step at the plate because you've got people dependent on you. And welcome to the show. It's James Smith, the Covert Prepper, with the Covert Prepper Show. I want to thank the Prepper Podcast Radio Network for giving me this opportunity to come into your home, your MP3 player, or your Stitcher radio system, your YouTube TV, Google TV, however I'm coming along. Oh, yeah, and the AM radio station there in San Diego. Thank you very much. It's an honor like you will not believe. So all information provided to you today is for entertainment purposes or for post-apocalyptic uses. Please do not use this to break the law. I will hunt you down. Who am I? I'm a former U.S. Navy enlisted sailor and prison corrections officer for medium and minimum security inmates. I was a covert fidelity insurance fraud investigator for several years, and I currently work for a company to provide support to the disabled. As a person who works for the disabled, let me tell you, I've seen some really able disabled people. They filed fraudulent claims, and every time I see it, it makes my blood boil. And I really hope they get busted. And it's just me. You know, if you're hurt, great. If you're hurt and you stay within your limitations, you and I will get along perfectly fine. But when you're working two jobs and you're drawing Social Security or workers' compensation, I got news for you. You're a fraud. You should be arrested and made to pay back that money. Okay, so what is this show about? Well, as the intro said, this is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. I teach you how to hide your stuff so that thieves don't steal from you. I take this as a personal mission to make sure that those that hear my voice will be able to learn a skill or two, because I don't want to be, judged on Judgment Day and say, well, James, why didn't you tell people that how to, stay alive in a bad situation? Well, I'm doing my part, and I've got a clear conscience because of it. All right. Our call-in line is area code 917-889-7908. But wait, there's more. Because this is not a live show, don't bother calling in. However, you can call that number to listen into shows that are currently in play. Just remember that. If they're currently in play, you can listen to there. Now, My Twitter name is Twitter name is @CovertPrepper. Sorry, I got the wrong show. And the blog is thecovertprepper.com. Write that name. You're going to want to be screaming it later. Now, you can reach me at james@thecovertprepper.com, and my YouTube channel is The Covert Prepper. Okay, so with that being said and done, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Have I got a surprise for you? This is a drill. This is a drill. This is only a drill.
We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. This is an urgent message transmitted by request of the United States government. Satellites registered the development of violent solar flares. A flare is expected to impact Earth within the next 24 hours. While the effects of a solar flare impact aren't entirely known at this time, it is expected that most structures will be destroyed. At this time, the President of the United States has ordered martial law. Military forces have been dispatched to keep order, using any means at their disposal. Looting, rioting, and any other illegal activity will be dealt with severely. You are risking your life if you choose to engage in this behavior. Further broadcasts will be made, if any shelter can be made available, if any shelter is sufficient. The President of the United States will be speaking on all channels shortly. Stand by for this message. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable stations shall transmit this emergency action notification message. The station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air to provide news and information to the public for as long as possible. This is WNYW-TV. The station will continue to serve the New York City metropolitan area. If you are not in this area, you should tune your television or radio to a station providing news for your area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the New York City metropolitan area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for emergencies. The emergency alert system has been activated.
Alrighty, that was taken from the movie Knowing, starring Nicolas Cage and a few other people. So, this is an idea what this show is about. This is called a new system I'm doing, a new program, a new way of prepping that I call 300 Days to Doomsday. Now, Doomsday has gotten a really bad rap over the centuries. Let me tell you about Doomsday. Doomsday is when you lose a loved one, a spouse, a breadwinner, somebody that you've lived with for decades. That's your personal doomsday. And your doomsday could also be losing your job. It could be eviction from your home. These are doomsday. A doomsday could be a temporary thing, such as your home being destroyed in a tornado. It could be an absolutely devastating event, such as a meteor striking Earth, destroying it. Okay, both of those are doomsdays. It's the level of doomsday. Now, do I think that something's going to happen on December 21st, 2012? I have no clue. But what I do know is that while nothing major may happen on that day, there's a whole lot of minor things that get in the way. As I listed before, you can lose your job, you can lose your home, you can lose a spouse. These are all doomsday, and these are all things that preparedness can help mitigate some of the problems, the damages. Let me give you a quick example. Because you prep and you lose your job, you have food. Because you prep, you've lost your home, at least you have your evac bag, your get out of Dodge bag, and things of this nature, so you can get to Grandma's house and you can get yourself set aside. That is what I mean by doomsday. Now, the apocalypse has gotten a really bad rap, too. Now, if you want to go way back, the word apocalypse only means unveiling. In fact, in the New Testament, it was not Revelations. It was the apocalypse according to John, the unveiling according to John. And so we don't know if it's going to be the unveiling of something that's going to be totally terminal for the human race or what. We don't know. And that's part of the reasons why we prep, because we don't know what's coming around that next corner, what's over that next hill. What is that cloud bringing? Is it bringing sunshine, rain, snow, hail, comets? Because we just don't know, we prepare. That is why I'm doing this. I want to get a non-prepper to be able to prep starting from scratch, starting today. I'm going to give you a heads up. This is going to be maybe repeat for a lot of you, new stuff to a lot of you, but let me tell you, you download this, you give it to a neighbor, a friend, a family, a loved one, and you say, I think you need to listen to this guy. You can think I'm totally off base, but let me tell you, I think he's right. Now, preppers are in the news. We are now a subculture of adults, okay? There are 2.2 million preppers. I actually think there's a whole lot more. And the way I tell people is you are a prepper already, because when you go outside in the rain, do you bring a raincoat or do you wear maybe nothing? We already prepare. It's in our natural tendencies to prepare for things. Again, if it's a snowstorm, do you wear a sundress? Do you wear heels, flats? No, of course not. You wear comfortable shoes so your feet won't get wet and you have suitable traction, right? That's for your women. Men, I'm sure you're not wearing Bermuda shorts. Wait, some of you are. But anyways, you get the idea. We're already preppers. It's just the level of preparedness in which we're trying to achieve. And this is what the 300 Days to Doomsday is all about. Now, I startled you with this emergency action notification. One day there may be something very similar to that. We don't know, so we prepare. If we're not prepared, then we're afraid. If we're prepared, then we have comfort and knowledge in knowing that we are prepared. We may not be perfectly prepared. We may not be prepared 99.9%, but you know what? We got a good start. And every good start leads to another good deed, another good action. And if you can hear that, that's my kittens in the background. They're playing. I love kittens. Alrighty, so how to begin? Well, on every great journey, you need to have a map. You need to have a thought. This thought is usually one word. It could be groceries, which means you have to pick up groceries, and therefore you develop an idea. So in this case, we're going to stick to the word prepare. So the word that you tell your neighbors, prepare. And so they're going to have this thought, prepare. And it's going to grow into an idea, such as, how do I prep? Or, I need to prep. And this will further mature into a plan. This is like, well, I do this, and I do that, and I do this, and I do that. So basically it's thought, idea, plan. And then the plan matures. Think of it like a tree. The first is the seed. It's the idea. The sapling is the thought. And further, when the tree matures, it becomes the plant. All right. Or the plant. Excuse me. So the plan is where you actually outline your preparedness goals. This is the time which you use that three-dimensional thinking. You need to conceive how things will go from each step, A to B to C. Now, refer to my blog post, my podcast, for a better idea on how to develop this three-dimensional thinking. So let's begin with making the plan. The first is to establish what the goal is. Is it you just want to last through the current disaster, the blizzard, the flood? Or are you trying to live as long as possible and a total and absolute collapse? I don't know what your goal is, but I know what mine is, and that is to live as long as possible, regardless of what life throws at me. So on your piece of paper that you have, because this is the Covert Prepper Show, you have pen and paper handy, right? Very bottom, you need to put down what your goal is. And it's just one sentence. To get through the apocalypse, to get through this blizzard, the next blizzard, the next earthquake, the next flood, okay? That is your goal. It could be to be ready for almost anything. That's perfectly fine. There are no wrong answers in developing a plan. The only wrong answer is when you don't put one in. Okay. Then what you need to do is you need to list your assets, liabilities, and your skills. So on that piece of paper, you're going to have 3 columns with each of these as headings. So on the far left, you're going to have assets, and in the center, you're going to have liabilities, and on the right, you're going to have skills. You may be a high school dropout, but you still have skills that can be great skills. I once argued with a psychology professor. A person with a 200 IQ is still going to die in the forest if they don't know how to make a fire. That little boy from Deliverance who's playing the banjo, okay, he will probably live a more fruitful life in the woods than a person with a 200 IQ. All right, so assets would include your possessions, your good health, car, home, pets, camping equipment, and many other items, just too many to list now. Your liabilities could be a location, poor health, family members, or with addictions, or anything or person that will reduce your ability to prep or who may steal your prep. Now, skills will include, I can organize. I have small arms training. I have military experience. I can make fire, gardening, and other self-sufficiency skills. Now look at these assets and look at the skills and see if any of them can, or in a combination, alone or in combination, can reduce or remove your liabilities. That's the important thing. You need to be able to offset the damage that can be caused by your liability. Again, liabilities are something you want to reduce. Assets and skills are things you want to increase. It's okay if you can't get them to the liabilities to be reduced, all right? But it just means more work that will need to be done. You want to try to mitigate or lessen what your workload is going to be. All right, so now add to any of the list as the 300 days go along, and cross off stuff as necessary. That liability could be resolved. Let's say, for example, location, because you moved, or that family member with addiction became clean and sober. Or it could just been a mistake. It's that simple. Now, further down on the list, you'll need to write down where you're going to keep your new supplies. Will you convert an unused closet, hide things inside of walls, or at someone else's house? Plan this now so you can incorporate it into your planning. You can buy, 40 years worth of food at this one particular freeze-dried, dehydrated place. Great. Where are you going to put it? So you've got an action, but you didn't think beforehand where you're going to be putting it. A, B, C, X, Y, Z. That's part of the three-dimensional thinking. So you need to have a plan. You need to have the action. And now this action has to be commensurate with what you have as part of your assets. All right, so this show and all others later will be useful to get you from that point A to point B. But this show is just the beginning. There are many other great shows on the Prepper Podcast Radio Network, KPRN-DB in Southwest Oklahoma, that will give you more information, more training, and more sound advice than what I can give in one show, or in the rest of these shows. About 40 shows, actually, that this is going to be going over. My point is on that is that while I may think I know everything, I may not be able to put it in words that you best will absorb and understand. I tend to be a little weird, but perhaps John Melandrid's show might be able to point you in a good direction on how to do things. All right, so now that you have your roadmap to success, let's add some points along your route. Remember, these will come every few days in your emails. Let me back up on that one. About every 6 days, you're going to receive an email from the Covert Prepper website giving you a list, just a web page. That's all you have to look at, is a web page. Now, on this web page, you're going to see links, and you're going to see videos on a particular topic. All right. When you look at this particular topic, I'm just going to take one at random, and it's going to be animal husbandry. Okay. You're going to see links about animal husbandry. It may be old books from archive.org or gutenbergpress.org. It may be links to websites of people who are actively doing animal husbandry. And what I mean by animal husbandry, and that is getting mommy bunny and daddy bunny together to make baby bunnies. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. So these will teach you on how to do that. The idea is that I'm going to give you material, and I'm also going to provide videos in the form of playlists. So let's talk about animal husbandry. Let's say I give you 6 links, and you're going to see a video of, there's just one video, but you click on a little, looks like a little gray screen at the very bottom, and you can see all the videos that are in there. And you can play these sequentially. It may be more than an hour worth of video, but it's there. You click on the link, and there's a web page. You read the web page. Before you click get rid of the page or go on to the next link, there's a little button you need to press on that web browser, and that says print. Print that screen if you can. Go to the library, print it. Go to work and print it. I don't care. Just print it. Put it in a binder. What you're doing is you're creating a library that you will need in case we have this total collapse, no power, the sun went wibbly and blew everybody's circuits. Those that require the internet to get, to survive, okay, will no longer have it. But you'll have your library of preppendom, okay, your prepping books. So click on the link, hit print. You don't have to read it just yet. Just do it, okay? Click, view, print. Click, view, print. Okay, now, Real Media Player has an option where you can download YouTube videos. Basically, you'll look at it, and this little thing pops up, download video, and you click that, and it'll download it. And to save it, I want to say as an MP4. I don't remember what the extension is right off the top of my head, but it's there. And later, you can take the videos for the particular thing, such as animals. That's what this is under. Animal husbandry is under animals. And then you can have a DVD or a CD burned so that you can have it in case you want to review this later. I'm helping you prep. I'm not prepping for you. Okay, and that is why I have these pages. Now, like I said, about every 6 days you're going to be getting one. On top of this, about every 30 days, you're going to be receiving what I call the top 10 tools to total triumph, or thereabouts. Okay, now these are going to be things that you should purchase. I made this decision in giving you a purchase list, and by the way, there's only really 10 items per se. The very first one is 10 items, but it's a lot of things people already have that you can get very, very cheap. You see, 300 days is going to be 20 paid periods. If you're on a 15-day, every 2 weeks you get paid. Okay, that's 20 paid periods. If you're paid once a month, that's 10 paid periods. Yes. Double check here. Yeah, 20 paid periods and 10 paid periods. So you're going to need about, I'm going to guesstimate at $30 per pay period if you're twice a week. $60 if you're once a month. I realize it seems like a lot, and I apologize for the amount because I always preach $5 a day, $5 or 5 minutes a day, $5 a week. But this is crunch time, guys. Things are getting really bad. You got to kind of step up to the plate on it. All right, so we're going to be sending these out, and then you just look at them, and then a few days later, you're going to get another one, another email, and you go to that, and you do the exact same thing. Every 6 days, you can knock this out in less than 2 hours in a 6-hour period. You could print everything the first day, the second day watch 1 or 2 videos, the third day watch 1 or 2 videos, or just download them. The idea is you have the information available. So let's talk about these waypoints on the map. The first skill to learn about will be about gardening. Now, gardening can be done year-round here in the United States, with a few exceptions. Nome, Alaska being one of them, or Cordova with 18 feet of snow. The first topic is going to be about, within the gardening section, is going to be the square foot garden method. Now, if you look on our site, you'll see that there is a page. It's called 300 Days to Doomsday page. And under that, you're going to see garden page. And when you click on that, it'll have the post square foot gardening method. Okay, that's how it works. It's really easy. It's a no-brainer. So you'll see the the links, and you'll find the videos that I have found for you. Now, so you can learn much more, and you can garden this way if you choose. If you may be already square foot gardening, that's fine. You may be a row gardener. Consider this as an alternative should things go bad. You know, you could do this with your potatoes. Believe it or not, 4 potatoes per square foot. Now, how much are you currently allotting your potatoes? Yeah, I think you can get more potatoes in a bigger space. Okay. So this brings us to the top 10 tools for total triumph, or close to. The first thing's going to be hand tools. Shovel, rake, hoe, axe, hatchet, saw, a plane, drill, a hammer, and a pry bar. The plane is it's called a wood plane, and it's actually used to level off wood. Why would you want to level off wood? Well, because doors become uneven over time, and they need to be planed down so that doors will close properly. That's what you use it for. Now, I've got a drill on here. Now, try to find a hand drill. Just not an electric one, just like an auger drill. Okay, it kind of, you hold the middle and the top and you spin and it drills. All right, look for that. I'm a firm believer in doing everything for free. So start with freecycle.org, put in your county, offer something up, and then if you've got somebody who wanted it, who's got it, great. You get it for free. If that doesn't work, try Craigslist. Now, Craigslist does have a free section. Look in there first. You can look in garage sales, and then you can look on eBay, or you can look on a big chain store. But before you go to the big chain store, look at the local stores. You may have a True Value. You may have a do-it-yourself. You may have Dale's Tool Shop. Okay, look there first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's support the little guy. Now, let's see. Yeah, always go for something that's hand-powered, because in a post-collapse world, you may not have working electricity.
And so that was my recorded half of the show about the 300 days to Doomsday. This is James Smith. Yeah, I jumped right back in here after this segment was done. And I want to let you all know that I'm working on the RSS feed so that if you've got the feed going, you'll be notified of any and all new posts. And one of the reasons why I decided to do this is on the covertprepper.com, I've got a plugin that lets me see what the search terms were that people were looking for when they found the site. And there's a couple things that I saw, and it's how to become a prepper, what do I need to become a prepper, and what do I need to survive apocalypse. Those are the rough estimation of the key search terms. And so that's one of the reasons why I decided to do the 300 days to Doomsday. I ask that you do pass this along to friends, family, enemies, whomever you believe that needs to survive the pending whatever is coming down the pipe. How would you feel if you knew that you held information that could save somebody else's life? You'd probably feel horrible, because I know I will. All right, so let's do some classic covert prepper isms by doing a couple emails that I had gotten. And the first one, I actually got this today, and Todd asked, with regards to the 22 caliber rounds, hollow point or not hollow point? He says he would use hollow points on gophers, and it seemed to have more stopping power, but if you want to eat what you shoot, then perhaps not hollow point is better. Any thoughts on this? Yes, go with the non-hollow point on the 22. If you're shooting game to kill, to eat. What you don't want is stray lead bits. And think about it, your kids are going to be eating it. So that woodchuck might be soup, but then that lead is going to be in the soup. Stick with your standard 22 round and save the hollow points for zombies or the bad people who try coming through your door. All right, think about how would you feel if you knew your kid was ingesting lead. And you're not the federal government, you're not poisoning people. Now, this one comes from Chrissy. And she says, I was listening to Alex Jones on Monday, and the host said a space emergency blanket, if you cut a hole in it and use it like a poncho, it would block the infrared of a drone. He said they can't see you if you did that. Is it true? Okay. I responded, yes, it's true to a point. Now, that material is mylar, and it will reflect anywhere from 75 to 90% of the body heat back into the body, keeping it warmer. The heat rises, and it will come out your neck, slightly warmer than the normal human body signature. You will need a tinfoil hat to keep the heat escaping from your head from being registered. Now, this trick minimizes your heat register, but does not eliminate it altogether. Or heat signature, excuse me. Now, and don't use one of those emergency blankets, ladies and gentlemen. Spend a few more bucks and get the emergency sleeping bag, and they'll provide you a front and a back coverage. And this way, you'll be, really covered. Paint the tinfoil hat, because it's made from mylar, and the sleeping bag black, because that IR is going to be reflected off that mylar, and they'll kind of know what it is. So paint it black so there's no reflection back. A good, flat, black paint, okay? Or get underneath some dirt, or pine needles. Whatever stops the IR from reflecting back. Right? And don't move. When you think there's a drone around, don't move. You've got a tiny little hot spot. It could be a rabbit. It could be a woodchuck. It could be, if you're a tiny child, it could be a ground squirrel. The idea is don't look like where you're supposed to be, and that is one of the ways of concealment. You are not what you look like. Okay? And let's see here. And my third one here. Yeah, take a check there. All right, yeah. Just a quick question. Would an unused chest freezer or an older fridge work as a Faraday cage? Thanks. This also comes from 50. Yes, but verify there are no shorts. Now, what I mean by shorts is if you take a multimeter and you're going to be checking conductivity. So take your electrical plug that plugs into the wall, put one lead there, set your meter for conductivity. It may have like a beeping emblem next to it, sound. So if you touch two leads together, it beeps. If it doesn't touch, there's no short, there's no connection. And then when you've got that one lead in the electrical outlet, take your other probe and touch various metal parts throughout the freezer or refrigerator. I'm talking the shelves, any kind of light fixture. Now, there's probably one there, just a heads up. So take out that light fixture. In fact, if you can, remove all said light fixture from that entire unit. What you don't want is things getting brought in the hard way. Plug that back up, that hole up, if you can, with the metal, with tinfoil. Just plug it up with tinfoil and tape that tinfoil right on there, right on the surface of the inside of the fridge. After you remove all the electrical part, you may need to also remove the freezer part. Now, don't lose that freezer part, because that freezer is actually a heat exchange. It exchanges heat and puts cold in there. That's a useful item. It's not going to be EMP sensitive. It's pretty much just switch on, switch off. Nothing really to get killed. There's no semiconductors. And then as soon as you've got your stuff stuffed in there, take some of that electrical tape or some tin foil and run it all around the crack of the door. And I'm not saying just inside the crack. I'm talking from at least an inch, let's say about an inch, on either side of the crack of the door. What you're doing there is you're keeping it electrically the same all the way through. Now, there's a lot of paint that's on there. That will affect your connection and connectivity. Take some sandpaper, and sand off some of that paint along with that 1 inch is, right where the edge is. Okay, so you put the tinfoil down, and then you see this where the line meets, where the line lays on top of the refrigerator or freezer. Okay, then remove your tinfoil, and in a few places along that area, scratch off until you see the metal on the box. Okay, do about 6 or 8 different places, all the way around. And then when you put the tinfoil back down, press on it real good and make sure tape gets on there. You want a good electrical connection all the way around of your box. and on also of the door. So it's the refrigerator itself and the door itself. And then when it comes down, put stuff in there, and when it comes time to need it, you just gently remove the tape from the door side, and you should be able to open it up without a problem. And all your material will be safe. And that way you will have a large Faraday box. Another good one is the dryer. Dryers typically are front door, and so all you need to do is lay a cardboard box in there, and they have to be electrically separated from the power. So, for example, if you did a connection from the plug to any metal part inside there, it should not connect. But if you're going to be using a dryer, it's just a quick and dirty thing. And what you're going to do is you can put your stuff into cardboard boxes, cram it in there just as much as you can, and it'll keep it safe. I'm going to take a look in the chat room real quick, see if anybody's got anything to say. Hi, Watercolor, and Put Yahweh First, and several guests. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I'm going to give you guys just a few moments if you want to ask any questions about the 300 Days of Doomsday or not. It's perfectly fine. I'll have to give them a chance. I'm not seeing a response. Any of the guests want to have to say anything? Fancy seeing you here. Oh, okay. Watercolor. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got. Now, please do go to thecovertprepper.com, and you'll see under the black bar underneath the Covert Prepper, and on that you'll see 300 Days to Doomsday, which is the intro text for this program. And you also see the 50 skills. And on the list of, on the very first page of the 300 Days, you will see the link to this podcast. And that way, if you share the webpage, they can also get a link to the podcast. And this is going to be a multimedia type event. Now, what I've done for you is I provided links to you so that you can learn more about the subject, in this case, square foot gardening, and you can go, oh, okay, hit print. Okay, that looks good, print. And then there's videos. So there's 9 videos, it's an hour long, and you can download these off of YouTube. There are downloaders that you can get, and there's some free ones so that you can learn more. Some people learn best from reading, some learn best from watching, and some learn best from doing. This is everything short of doing. You're the only one that can do it. I cannot do this for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me, and I will see you all next week. I've got more material to post, not tonight, but in the next few days. I will be posting the next one. And let's see here, in about a month, you'll be getting another Top 10 Tools to Total Survival. And Top 10 Tools to Total Triumph, or the whole thing for that. If you have a moment on the webpage, there is the Covert Prepper's Guide to Surviving the Apocalypse. Take a look at that. And if you feel inclined, you can request or download the free 15-page ebook to see what it's all about, see if you like it. You can purchase an electronic version. There's Kindle, EPUB, and if you need, I can send you the PDF version after you purchase one of the other two. We also have a black and white version and a color version. Now, I will be working on a second book, which is a little more in-depth, and I think you guys will like it. And I anxiously await any emails you may have. You can email me, james@thecovertprepper.com, and I hope to hear from you all, and I will see you all next week. But you'll see me actually on Monday at the Prepper Podcast Radio Network News, which airs noon Eastern on Blog Talk Radio, and you can hear us live, or you can download us from iTunes or Blog Talk Radio. The location of the most important prep. It is a very important prep, and this comes from Put Yahweh First. Now, why is location the most important prep? Let's say you lived on the little island nation of Diego Garcia, which is in the middle of, not island nation, the little island of Diego Garcia belongs to the British. It's about 7 degrees below the equator at the tip of India. It's owned by the British, ran by the Americans, military installation. That is a crummy place to prep or anything of that nature because of a major tsunami. You're going to be, well, let's see. The highest point is 7 feet off the ground besides buildings. And the tsunami that hit Japan was 120 feet tall. And you see there might be a little inconsistency on your survival rates. And if I was to choose to be a place, it would probably be Montana, Wyoming, somewhere east of the Rockies, but not too far away or not too close to Mississippi's, the Mississippi River Basin or the Ohio River Basin. And the entire East Coast seaboard is not a good place either. Florida, not a good place, in my humble opinion, if there's an earth crustal shift, as I think would be the worst possible scenario. And, all right. Doesn't look like there's another question in the chat room. 3, 2, I think there's a 7-second delay anyway. Okay. That's about it. Watercolor me his Appalachians. Oh, we'll just do this with running chat room. Appalachian. That would be a good one. It's away from the sea. It is in a growing area, and at the southern aspect, you do have some longer growing periods. You did have hurricanes. As most recent, there was a snowstorm, but that's livable. You can go through those. Let's see here. Laws. If you're talking like Tennessee area, that would be a good one. So Tennessee, Kentucky, do you consider those part of the Appalachians? New York, I wouldn't, only because of the laws. All right, I'm going to give a few more moments here on the chat room. If there's another question. And let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Doesn't look like there's another question in the chat room, so I'm going to be ending the show a bit early, and I will see you guys all next week, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend with lots of it, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Warning, the unprepared may not survive the next natural disaster, terrorist attack, or economic collapse. In light of recent global unrest and natural disasters, we bring you this urgent message from David Morris, author of the acclaimed Urban Survival Course. Because this message is urgent, we won't waste time on the why you should act now. You already know why. It's the very real and growing dangers reported in the media every day. Now it's the what you must do. Go to myminisurvivalcourse.com and claim your free Urban Survival mini course that will prepare you for breakdowns in civil order. Today, David Morris is offering you instant access to his 7-part Urban Survival mini course at myminisurvivalcourse.com. You should already be at your keyboard. Enough talk. Act now while you still have time and while it's still free. myminisurvivalcourse.com. myminisurvivalcourse.com. Or call 1-866-558-1040. 1-866-558-1040. You'll be glad you did.
You are listening to KPRN-DB in Southeast Oklahoma.